Hello everyone, welcome to Doctor Story. I'm Anchal Arora, a consultant at MyCare. According to the recent report published by World Health Organization on 9th of June 2021, worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1965. And sadly, India ranks third in global obesity index. But despite that huge number, most individuals don't really know what it means. Today, we have invited one of the leading surgical gastro consultant, Dr. Deepak Subramaniam, to share his insightful, impeccable knowledge on this life-threatening disease. A warm welcome, doctor, and I hope you are doing well.
Hello, Anshul. It's my pleasure to be in Doctor Story, and it's been as you rightly said, obesity is a bigger pandemic and as big as COVID, but it's very underspoken of, and I'm happy to share my thoughts on the same today. Thank you.
Most welcome, Dr. Subramaniam. All right. So, for a layman to understand, what is obesity?
So, see, generally what we do is we tend to have this belief in us, or most of the people think that only when somebody is looking a little bit big, we get that term as obesity in our minds. But honestly speaking, obesity has a completely different medical definition itself. Okay. So how do we as clinicians categorize obesity, or how do we say somebody is obese? This is based upon a simple measurement that is done called as the body mass index. Now, how do you calculate body mass index or BMI? So put your weight in the numerator in kg, and in the denominator, put your height in meters and square it. That is, if you're about 175 centimeters in height and about 80 kg weight. So you put 80 divided by 1.75 the whole square. And that comes up with a value. Now, what is the normal BMI that a healthy individual must have is anywhere between 20 to 25. If the value of your BMI as you calculate it comes in as 20 to 25, then you are under a normal BMI. Anything 26 to 30, we call them as overweight. Okay, it is not yet still obese, but they're still on the overweight criteria. But anything more than 30, anybody who's more than 30, we term them as obese. This is the definition that has been recognized globally, worldwide for obesity. Anybody who's more than 30 is called as obesity. Anybody who's more than 40 BMI is called as morbidly obese. And anybody more than 50 BMI is called as super obese people. Now, if actually looking at it, if you calculate it this way, say about 10 people are there and they're calculating the BMI, easily about 2 to 3 of them come under the obese category. But if you actually look at them, they may not look very big or heavy, but technically they are still under the obese category, and which is why it has become obesity has become a bigger factor today, because it is contributing to many other diseases. So one must calculate the BMI of their own self, and at least once in 2-3 months they should be able to calculate this. Because it's a simple measurement. It's not that difficult to do. You can do it in your phone, in your calculator. So I don't think it's that difficult. And the knowledge about one's BMI is very, very important, because to identify root causes of many diseases, obesity seems to be the prime factor.
Thank you for explaining in such simple terms, doctor. While understanding obesity, what are the most possible causes of obesity?
So when it comes to obesity, there are multiple factors. Okay, so you look at genetic factors. There is genetic factors. You look at hormonal factors or endocrine factors. There are endocrine factors. But leaving aside these are all the minority of situations. I would say they won't contribute significantly to obesity per se. But when you look at the majority of why obesity is there very commonly these days, is mostly it is environmental factors and dietary factors and lifestyle factors. So what are environmental factors? Environmental factors are things like if there is very limited walking that you're doing and physical activity is very less, that itself can lead to obesity. Dietary factors, if you're a person who basically eats a lot of fatty diet or junk food, etc., but not spending out enough calories. So basically the difference between the intake and the output, if the intake is more than the output, then that excess calories gets deposited in our body as fat, and that in turn leads to obesity. So these are the most commonest things which in general day-to-day lifestyle And especially with the COVID pandemic hitting us for the last couple of years, people are more homebound. People are working from home. There's the chance of doing any exercise or physical activity or walking, etc., has come down significantly. And this has contributed significantly in the last couple of years in people gaining weight and going from an overweight category to an obese category, or somebody who was already obese has put on even more weight. And that has led to multiple problems. So basically, put it in a nutshell, I would want to say, if the intake of food and the output, that is the exercise factor or spending calories, is there a big difference? That is going to lead to obesity on a long run if it is not corrected.
What are the health risks associated with obesity then?
See, obesity, as you said, India is now ranking 3rd in the world in obesity. Diabetes is one of the biggest problems, which I think your family, somebody, or your friends, somebody will be suffering from obesity. My family, I know there are enough. So the biggest link between obesity and diabetes is something which is very, very important and not much spoken about. When somebody becomes a diabetic, what do we do as clinicians also? We check their HbA1c levels, we check their fasting sugars, etc. We start them on medications. But are we trying to get a root cause analysis done for this diabetes? Why did this person develop diabetes? Yes, of course, genetic reasons are there. If that is family history of diabetes, those factors definitely play a role. But are there factors which can be altered? Are there factors which can be altered so that this person doesn't develop diabetes? Or even if they develop diabetes, that can be at a very minimal level. How can we keep that? So that is where obesity and diabetes plays a big role. So if somebody is obese, so let me go into a little bit detail here and say diabetes. Why does diabetes come? Basically, in diabetes, your sugars are very high. Why are your sugars going high? Because enough insulin is not being produced, or the insulin that is produced is resistant. Okay, they are not entering into the cells and the sugar levels are not coming down. So in obesity, there is very high percentage of insulin resistance. So which is why obese people over a period of time develop diabetes and develop multiple other problems. So one of the biggest things I want to talk about is in health factors related to obesity is diabetes, because diabetes in turn can lead to multiple problems like kidney issues, neurological issues, or many, many other issues which we all know about. So that seems to be one of the biggest factors that we are looking at. Yes, other than diabetes, there are multiple problems from head to toe. I can even quote saying hypertension or increased blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, osteoarthritis of the knees and of the hips can be very common in obesity, low back issues, infertility, which is a growing big problem in India today. One of the biggest challenges in infertility is because these patients, if they are obese, unless the weight is reversed, this PCO or polycystic ovarian syndrome is not corrected and they continue to be infertile. So these are all multiple problems, and I'm just saying the tip of the iceberg here. I can even clearly say there is enough research and evidence to say some cancers itself are directly linked with obesity. So there are multiple issues, hundreds of issues that obesity can cause. But I want to say that the biggest and the most growing burning problem of India, at least, being diabetes, I think obesity seems to be a very, very important factor for that.
Exactly. So we could say it's more of a vicious circle that obesity develops one after the other. It starts with obesity,
so what happens,
it's like a never-ending cycle.
That's right. So what happens is when somebody is obese and they don't have any of these medical problems, so they say, okay, I'm obese, I just have to lose weight. I'll lose weight and I should be able to. Yes, absolutely right. But the enough efforts or the right steps towards losing the weight are not being taken. So what happens if somebody gains weight? If I gain weight or you gain weight or anybody gains weight, what is the first thing that's running in our mind? We want to say, okay, you know what? I should start doing some dieting. I should start doing some exercise, and I will try to cut down. This is the first thing that's running in our mind, right? I also do the same. I'm sure you also do the same, or anybody does the same. So yes, but obesity, to correct the weight or to shed a few more kilos, it's actually a very, very customized approach. And we will talk about it. But the thing is, as long as somewhere in this whole pattern, you try to get into a lifestyle of where you're able to maintain the same weight reduce a share, come from a BMI category of say 32 to 25 or 26. And as long as you're able to maintain that 25, 26 for a significant period of time, then the chances of you developing these multiple medical issues come down. The problem is, if we do dieting and exercise and then we stop it, even for it may take 6 months for us to lose those extra kilos, but if you stop it for even 2 months, the rebound is very, very high, and you'll go back to that. We would have seen that in our regular day-to-day lives. It's the rebound of this weight is very, very high. So yes, as you rightly said, this vicious circle has to be cut at some point so that the multiple problems doesn't occur to these patients.
So we can say perseverance and commitment is one thing that has to be there if you have to treat obesity in one own self.
Yeah. So I think perseverance and commitment, and along with that, I think the right step towards it, because there's so much in the internet about losing weight. There's so much that you can Google about losing weight. But are these the right steps for you? One should actually analyze themselves, because that's what we do as obesity specialists. What we do is we take this person individually as a customized approach. We give them a 360-degree care. And when we give this 360-degree approach towards this particular person and give them a very customized approach, see, what works for you may not work for me. You may be a person who, probably, works out for half an hour and you were able to maintain weight. But for me, it may take 1 hour of workout, or I might have to do some changes in my diet, or I might have to do a few more things. So customized approach and perseverance and commitment towards it on a long run, I think that's where we can break this cycle.
So who are at more risk, children, adults, or old?
So I think today, I think everybody's at risk. I see children even at a younger age group at 10, 11, 12 years old who are obese. I see adults, even a younger adult at 25, 26 is obese. And what is the reason behind it? When you go back, look at it, there's a lot of westernization that we've adapted here. Children today are more sitting in front of the computers or the iPads and playing games or PlayStations, etc. When compared to, when I was a young kid, I used to want to go out and play cricket with my friends or football with my friends and other things. But I think the physical activity, the concept of physical activity is kind of come down in children. And this has led to obesity in a younger age group. Or if at that point of time they don't get obese, they start becoming obese when they enter college or just they finish college at about that stage. So I'm seeing a lot of patients between the category, especially between 20 to 35, who are getting more on the obese side at this point. And that has in turn led to one of the biggest problems, again, called infertility, because at that age, developing diabetes is less chance. You have less chance of developing diabetes, but that can in turn, this obesity can in turn affect your, infertility and cause multiple issues. Yeah.
Right. So how can one treat obesity now? What would be the role of physical activity, then medication, or when is one required to go for a surgery?
I'll talk about surgery in the end of this answer, but I want to say, I think treating obesity is, I don't think one can treat obesity just by, doing one particular thing. As I rightly said, as we discussed before, what works for one person doesn't work for the other. Okay. You and me, both of us could be exactly the same kilos, but you could, what works for you doesn't work for me. So one needs to get into a 360-degree approach. So actually what the best way to approach this is to probably get into a center which, treats obesity as a whole, wherein, you should have a dietitian, you should meet a clinical psychologist, because many times stress and anxiety and many other things, also depression, can also cause obesity. So you need a clinical psychologist, you need an obesity physician to treat you, you need surgery is also another option. So all these put together, people come up with a customized approach. Now, based upon the eating patterns that they have before, based upon what they do as physical activity, whether they are a sedentary worker, whether they have a lot of physical activity, all these things come into the play. And with that, a customized plan is given to this patient. Now, this particular patient has to stick to the plan and with good discipline for a significant period of time, and then the results start to show. So diet, exercise, yes, definitely they are part and parcel of treating obesity. But when it comes to surgery, we don't do surgery, or bariatric surgery, especially when it's the term that is coined towards treating obesity. We do the bariatric surgery only when a person is above a BMI of 33 with some comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, or anybody with a BMI of more than 35 without any comorbidities. So why do we, for example, if I say, if I have a patient who has a BMI of say 40, what is the best approach that this person can have? In that, yes, we analyze a lot of factors like history, their eating behaviors, etc., physical activity. But research has shown, and personal experience in our team unit has shown, that anybody who's more than about a BMI of 37 or 38, dietary and physical activity alone is unable to bring them to the normal BMI and make them healthy. So that is where bariatric surgery plays a bigger role for these patients. Whereas if for a person who's a BMI of 31, 32, or 33, we would actually recommend a lot of physical activity and diet initially before we even counsel them for any other sort of solutions.
Well, thank you so much for such an insightful help that we have shared today. I am definitely sure the audience would love to hear more about this. But yes, thank you so much, Dr. Subramaniam, for today's session. And I hope with this, people more often give that importance to physical activity and their diet, so that the level is not beyond 30 for them to get into surgery. That is treatable without that. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
And for all those watching us, which of the topic do you want us to discuss with leading doctors? We would love to hear from you in the comments section below. For now, thank you so much for watching. God bless, and we will see you in the next video.